So, hello everybody. Today, I would like to introduce to you another wonderful device. This is the Bio-Well Water Electrode. This one, some of you already have it, perhaps. So it is a very cool device which enables us to measure the energy of liquids and to measure the dynamics of this energy, to see how it changes with some influence. And this enables you to capture the influence on the liquid of different devices, for example, electromagnetic fields produced by different electronic devices, or some devices for structuring water, or whatever, as well as the influence on the liquids of the human intention. So it is quite an interesting opportunity. However, I would like to make a note that this device is meant to measure the energy of one particular liquid. I mean, it is for comparison of liquids with the same chemical composition. You can measure the energy of different liquids, but you can't measure the energy of coffee and tea and then compare it, because it doesn't make sense. But you can take one particular liquid, then measure its energy for some time, and then produce some non-chemical effect. For example, bring some device in contact with it, and then see if it produces any influence or not. Or you can pronounce some mantras, bless this water or curse it, or also see if there is any influence of your intention on the energy. So how does it work? What do we need for using the water sensor? First of all, we need the sensor itself. This it has a it has a plug like this, which is plugged into the titanium cylinder of the Bio-Well camera. So you need the calibration cylinder, not the finger insert. Then you need the Bio-Well itself, and the US cable. So you just plug the titanium cylinder inside as if you are going to do the calibration. So then put it on the stand. Insert this plug of the water electrode. Don't be afraid to push harder if it's a new device, because some people are afraid, but it's just a banana plug, you can't break it. Switch on the camera, of course, to the computer. And switch on the Bio-Well software. It should be the environmental scan, the same as the Sputnik sensor. And just put the electrode into a glass of water or into a bottle, whatever. Then you need to switch on the environmental scan, and at first you will see an image of the titanium cylinder. It is like a mini calibration. So if the cylinder is not inserted in the correct way, you will see that it is not white inside, and you should move this cylinder a bit in order to fix it. And once it is beautiful and white inside, the round circle, you can click on the start. So it will take a couple of minutes probably before the actual measurement will start, and the line of the measurement will appear. And then it will take a few minutes till the water dynamics become stable. So you will see some stable line on the screen. And after that, you can try to apply some influence to this water, either the influence of devices or the influence of human intention, and then see if the energy changes, if the water electrode is sensitive to this kind of influence. So if it is calm, if water is in its normal, calm and peaceful condition, usually the line on the screen is quite stable. And if there are high energy variations, it means that there is some activity. It is the same as with the Sputnik sensor. So also, you can add some labels sometimes. For example, at the point when you started to apply the influence, when you switched on some device, and then in the end you can count the statistics. The software will evaluate the difference between the influence and after it. So we have just made some measurement in order to introduce it to you, to show it as an example. So I will share my screen with you now. So it was quite simple. We just measured the water in a glass like this, but we put one of such glasses with an electrode close to a Wi-Fi modem, very close, and the other one was quite far from it, about 5 meters. So as you see on the screen, we just compared the two measurements afterwards, and the blue line shows the electrode which was quite far from the modem. So it was quite far from the influence of the Wi-Fi, and the orange one was very close to the Wi-Fi source. So as you see, the activity is much higher in the place where there was where the Wi-Fi radiation was stronger, and it was lower in the place which was quite remote from that. So it is a very simple experiment, but it already demonstrates how this device works. So it's possible to make, of course, very interesting experiments with human intention. You can meditate on this water. It provides us with excellent opportunities. And we would like you to participate in our experiments because it is a new device. We don't have so many studies on it yet, but its functions are close to the functions of the Sputnik. Its principle is the same. So if you have any interesting measurements, we would like you to share with us. It would be great. Actually, these are the basics. And if you have any questions, or if you would like to share some impressions, maybe you already have some interesting experience, please go ahead and ask or share. And next time we will introduce some other interesting device to you.
Maria?
Yeah?
If the quality of the water is high, the graph is stable or it has a great variability?
When there is a big variability, it doesn't mean the quality is good or bad. It just means that there is some activity in this liquid. So of course it depends on the particular situation, and you can't just judge by this high variation. So it's relative what is good or bad, but it shows that there is some activity if the variations of the energy are high. Okay, guys, if there are no questions yet, but you have some later, you can just email to us. And if you have interesting experiments, also email your data to us to the Korotkov Bio-Well account. So we will appreciate if you share your experience. And thank you for coming.
Hi, I have a question. My name is Bernice.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
And I have an older GDV device. Probably, I think it's the second generation that I've been working with the Sputnik. My question is, why couldn't we just take a container of water, turn the Sputnik upside down, and take readings from it? Like if we put it inside a water container, why couldn't you just do that?
We didn't do it yet, so the construction of the device is a bit different. This is a platinum electrode, and
okay.
So we can check it because nobody has asked this question yet. So it's an interesting question, but we've just created a new device for this, which is convenient to use. I'm not sure if Sputnik can be used this way, but maybe. If you put it close to the water, of course, the influence will probably affect the Sputnik too, because it's quite a sensitive device. But if you put it just into the liquid, it's more sensitive. So probably it's the issue of convenience and the intensity, but probably it's also can be more measured with the Sputnik, of course.
Yeah, so could you use the Sputnik, say, when it's raining?
Под дождем его можно использовать спутник? Yes, it doesn't. Yeah.
So then it wouldn't matter if it gets
nothing will happen to it if it rains. So.
Yeah. Okay, I have one more question. I have, as I said, I have an older instrument, maybe second generation, and when I put the calibration or the probe on the sensing plate, do I have to put something underneath, or can I put it directly on the glass sensing plate? Do I need to have a glass plate in between?
What kind of things do you put there? Kind of plants or food? Or?
You have to connect your probe. You have to connect your probe to the machine, and you're using that little calibration titanium connector. Yes, when you're working with the Bio-Well, you showed us how you plug it in and slip it in. Well, my machine is different, but I can still use it. And I want to know if I have to configure it slightly different. Do you know what I mean? Like you get the calibration probe, it's a little round titanium cylinder. And so plug your probe into that, and then you have to put it on the sensing plate of the Bio-Well or the GDV.
Ты знаешь эти старые камеры? Там как-то по-другому, на какую-то специальную сенсорную... Я не могу... да, поняла. Установи. Вопрос состоит в том, что камера старого поколения, там как-то на какую-то специальную поверхность кладется цилиндр во время калибрации, как-то по-другому устроено. Вообще в этом разбираешься? So actually, what is the question? Because the principle is the same in that the construction is different. The construction of the device is different, but the GDV principle is the same. But what is the question? Sorry.
The question is how I could, how do I connect my probe, or how would I connect my probe if I got the water probe to the older style machine, to the older second generation machine?
Yeah, I got it. Как присоединить электрод к старой камере? Это можно?
It's a 2011 model.
We will check it for you because we don't experience of using those old cameras. They have different design, so we're not.
Yes,
I'm not sure if it can. I'm not sure if it can be used with this electrode, but We'll check it for you.
Well, they work the same way. It's just how you have to work with them is different.
Do you have this plug for the Sputnik in that camera?
Yes.
So it is the same plug. It looks the same way as the Sputnik. This, if you have a place to insert it, so it should work.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly the same. It's how you put it on. I don't have it here, so otherwise I'd show you. But it's just the older generation machine, and I need I want to use it because that's what I have.
Mm-hmm. As long as your calibration cylinder enables you to plug in this the sensor, it should be okay.
Then you and then you put that calibration cylinder on the sensing plate, or in your case, you would plug it into the Bio-Well, right?
Yeah.
And then on your Bio-Well, you have a glass plate.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And you have to put anything between the glass plate and the calibration probe is my question.
Nothing. Oh, yeah. You don't have to put anything. You just put the cylinder as you usually do while calibration. It is the same. The same position as during calibration. And you just plug in this cable of the water sensor or Sputnik sensor instead of the calibration cable.
Okay, right. So does that calibration cylinder touch the sensing plate on the Bio-Well? Question.
Касается.
Does it actually physically touch?
Немножечко касается. Yes, it touches it a bit. It touches it. Mm-hmm. So in the beginning, actually, I told you that in the beginning, there is the mini calibration when you see the scan on the screen and you see if the cylinder is positioned correctly. So it touches the screen and it should be in the correct position, like during the calibration.
Okay. Okay, very good. I understand now. That makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. Я записываю, кстати. Я не знаю, такая дурацкая. Hi, Hashem.
Hello, Marie. Hello, everyone.
Do you have experience with the water electrode already?
Sorry?
Do you have experience with the water electrode? You can share some interesting cases with us if you have.
It is just in the first place, like you explained, that you are using the one end of the water electrode as if you are making calibration.
Mm-hmm.
And the other end is anyway connected to the part of the water electrode. And what I experienced is trying small experiments, putting the water electrode in glass of water and putting different numerical strips in the water, because I'm testing the harmonious energy coming out of specific numbers. And in a science called biogeometry, one of the elements we use to harmonize is numbers, the efficiency, the harmonious energy coming out of numbers. And specifically for water, we harmonize using the number 11. So if you put anything repeated 11 times in a bottle of water, this will bring specific energy quality. And you can see this reflected on the diagram you are monitoring. And this water will be then coming to a higher level than it is for heating purposes. If you kept on using water by the power of a specific number, here is the number 11, then on the long term, because heating water is part of the elements new in the field of alternative medicine. And it is long-term healing process. But you still can see clear reflection already from the beginning. And this reflection and this useful energy coming out of this water, harmonized one, you would recognize like you are putting layers of health state in your total health state condition. On one side, because the water is very important element, like everyone knows, it's high percentage of our existence, and because water is in each cell of the body. So it's a good smart way to try to take care about the quality of the water you are using. Because practically tap water in many cities is not a good quality water. And the mineral water is not 100% healthy water. It is clean, but it's empty of the healing elements. It will not make you sick. It will not heal you. It will not have its impact on your health, whether on a short range or a long range. It will not make you sick, but the purpose of water is not only not to make you sick, but it is a very powerful tool available almost with no cost, which you can use to improve and enhance your health. Putting number 11, whether it's a strap with 11 naps or putting a strip of piece of paper, even on the bottom outside, making on this piece of paper, like a sticker, you can use a pencil and just make 11 straps and then leave like 5 centimeters and then put 16 strap. Between the one and the next, just 1 or 2 millimeters, just to be recognized by nature as unit of 11 and unit of 16. The 11 is specifically for water, 16 is for general tendency, for general harmonization. It's related to the golden ratio in nature. If some of us already have a background about the golden ratio, which is 1 to 1.617, this is a very famous ancient golden ratio, a very famous proportion, was always used in building the ancient temples. And this number 1 to 1.6 ratio, it's bringing healing energy. Once it's recognized by nature, so according to the law of resonance, everything is built or designed with a percentage or the proportion 1 to 1.6 is acknowledged by nature as element in nature, emitting and resonating in level of harmonious healing energy. This is a very important number. When we harmonize water, we use very repetitive the number 11 plus the 16. Any number you use, it will be enhanced with the number 16. If you would look back to the ancient Greek temples, they are using all the time half of the 16 or double of the 16, whether 8, 16, or 32. And this is referring back to the golden ratio. Back to the water, use 11 plus 16. It's cheap. Here means as cheap as zero cost. And you will be doing good favor to your health. There is more about healing energy you can with it enhance your water or food. For example, if you have a shape of a specific angle, because angle in nature is very, very, very important. If you used a shape which has the angle of 135 from inside and 45 degrees from outside, the area in between, it is emitting the complete universal healing forces energy. If you have a friend of yours which is a carpenter, or if you are talented in some work with wood, you can make the angle of 135 from inside, 45 from outside. And you put the glass of water, plate of food, the medication you are taking in this angle. And it will be enhanced with the universal healing energy by using this specific angle. So in biogeometry, we bring the very well-known, especially by the ancient people, the power spot healing energy by using this language of numbers and angles. This is shortly, fastly, because you don't have enough time.
Hisham, it was very exciting. Thank you for the advice. It's just wonderful. And guys, if somebody doesn't know yet, I would like to introduce Hisham Samit to you. He's our Bio-Well lecturer. He will teach first level Bio-Well seminar in March, the one which will take place in Prague. So all of you are invited. And also the biogeometry practitioner. So he can share very exciting knowledge with you. And he's also one of the lecturers of the Human Light System course. So you will participate in his lecture.
So with the lovely community you have, I will be blessed and pleasured, honored as well,
on our side.
to share these humble informations about connecting the modality of Bio-Well, referred back to GDV, and using it not only for checking your health state and the development of your health state if you are under treatment, but also to using this in the second chapter, which is measuring the effect of different healing modalities. Because I am in the field of biogeometry, I will be more talking about biogeometry, but we will give the time for our friends to bring their input if they are specialized in other fields.
Yeah, that's a unique combination. Yeah.
Yes, we try to benefit out of this device the maximum.
And I'm just curious, Hisham, just coming back to the water electrode, when you put it into contact with the number 11, did the energy come down or was it active? Did it become active? So what was the influence?
The energy, like you all know, it is not a reflection when it's going down or up only. It needs to be optimized, because on many of the Bio-Well diagrams, going up is not only the only criteria that everything is better. But first, if you have a very sensitive, intuitive talent, you will feel a difference by drinking or by coming in resonance with water. But physically, with your eyes, you should recognize a difference. If the water energy before you put the number was less than the optimal level, so it should increase. If the water energy was too high, which means it's also not positive signal, it will drop. So dropping and increasing, it's coming to the optimization, because just increasing is not always the wished result.
Okay, thank you.
Generally, not to be confused, water has very low, the normal tap water has very low or lower than the optimum. So when you optimize, most of the time you will recognize increasing, because our water is empty of the useful energy quality.
Okay, thank you. We will try to. Okay, guys, thank you for coming. Just we are a bit limited during this Thursday lectures. We are limited with 40 minutes, so that's why we should finish now. But if you have any other comments or questions, just write to us, and we'll be pleased to talk to you. And also send your experiments to us. And thank you, Hisham, especially you, for sharing your immensely interesting information.
Take care, all of you.
Next Thursday.
My pleasure.
Thanks.
Stay healthy and blessed.
Bye. Have a nice evening.
Bye.